Hi Aquarius, this is going to be your reading for the period of the Leo full moon, the wolf moon, which just happened 2 nights ago now. So we are actually in the waning gibbous phase of this moon, and this is just what this series is entitled. Really, my readings are timeless in general, so whenever you find this reading is when it's meant for you. So Aquarius, let's get into your reading. If this reading resonates with you, I encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe, and drop me a comment below if you see fit. That's so interesting. So there's some repeat energies from my previous reading. So that was Capricorn. Some of you Aquarius might be dealing with a Capricorn. I feel like I called you Aries at the top, and I hope not, but if I did, Aquarius, this is your reading. Hermit card on the energy, you might be dealing with a Virgo, but this is also sort of an undergirding energy about really sage wisdom that you have sort of pervading what is happening with you right now at the time that you're listening to this reading. Aquarius, let's dive into this. So what it signifies is your signifying card is the Devil. The Devil energy talks about being in personal bondage. There's a sense of obsession and an addiction to this card. But on the other hand, it also talks about lust, having a lust for life, and an ambition. And so you can see where this is sort of a tightrope walk in the energies that the Devil brings. It doesn't always have to be negative. Oh, you're obsessed. Oh, you're, it can go there if you let it, but anything can kind of, tip to more towards the shadow side, can't it? Or more to, choose your own adventure. But what I want to say about this signifying energy and what this, your current energy is sort of embroiled in, that's what I want to say, is that drive, is a lot of drive. And if you're not careful, or if you don't kind of stay the straight and narrow, it can tip towards something that doesn't really serve you well, that is actually misplaced and filling voids that it oughtn't. And on the other hand, if you can harness it and make it behave for you, if you will, it's something that you can use to fuel a great ambition and a lust for life, or something. Supporting your energy, the signifying energy, is this really beautiful pre-Empress 9 of Pentacles. I love this card. This energy is aspirational. This is the energy of again, it's pre-Empress, so we've got divine feminine energy. She is so self-supporting. She's a very special energy. She is very creative. She is creation. She is not only in a garden, she becomes the garden. She is the garden. So she's self-cultivated and self-cultivating. So wealth is wealth and luxury is imbued in the energies of this card. And there's so much yellow in this card. And yellow is life-bringing sun energy, virility. And so this card is the energy of this card, again, is very aspirational, and this is what is supporting the energy of the Devil and what that, in your situation. So together, what it's telling me, Aquarius, is that this is going to have to do with something that you have a really deep lust for. Something that you have a very deep drive and ambition for, something, that you need to create. There is a need to create this. You feel so bound to this need. And because there's something that's germinating within you that is ready to grow a bountiful garden, and the thing about it is it cultivates yourself, but it brings a bounty, and it feeds. It's there to feed outwardly. Okay, Aquarius, at the root of you is the Tower. The Tower is major arcana. The Devil's major arcana too. So, by the way, major arcana obviously is going to talk about things that have a greater resonance in our life. It's less incidental than minor arcana. They may have to do with big shifts, big changes, big aspects of our lives, big relationships in our lives. And the Tower is, in fact, a paradigm shift. And may have come out of nowhere, may have taken you by surprise, but the Tower energy is something that is positive most of the time, I find, because even if like it didn't happen at the best time for you, so therefore it took you by surprise and it felt destructive or disruptive, this Tower had to fall, this paradigm had to shift, and it's only because it was only standing because you were forcing it to for so long. So when the Tower falls, it's a really beautiful thing. It's phoenix from the ashes. Tower energy is scorpionic energy, which is in an expression of that sign is the phoenix. And so think of it that way, like, you know, it burns up and rises again from the ashes. And so what is implied, you know, on the other side of this feeling of great tumult is a new dawn at the end of the day, or a new dawn at the end of the day. A new dawn, like and a rebirth. Truly, you will, you know. And so this isn't at the root of you, and which tells me that an event like this or a feeling like this or is what spurs on this great deal, this great force, this great energy, this lustiness, this ambition to move forward, and indeed your great cultivation in beautiful, beautiful creativity. In the recent past, you have the Moon card, more major arcana, pointing to, yes, this is big deal stuff. It kind of mellows out, I will say that, Aquarius, but you know what what this tells me, and you know, your undergirding energy was the Hermit, again major arcana. So and a great deal of wisdom carrying you through this energy. The Moon is your shadow side. So it tells me that, especially in conjunction with the Tower, is that what's rooting this situation, has spurred this on, is your confronting your shadow side very bravely and very sagely. Perhaps it was out of a period of great meditation that brings you to this moment and helps to fuel this movement forward. This is your progression. This is your progress. But what immediately preceded this was this sort of this period of feeling like you were in the dark. It's almost as if the Tower fell, and once everything went away, the lights went down, it dimmed, and all you had was moonlight illuminating the path and through the rubble that was left behind. But it took a great deal of intuition. The animals on this card, you know, are reflective of powerful intuitive energies, and indeed the Moon is connected to the Priestess, which is all about feminine connection to intuition and being able to commune through the spirit realms, and so utilizing your intuition, you were able to navigate as the moonlight only glinted off of the debris, and you found your way in order to find your way. And so in this way, the Moon was your friend. The Moon, was a friend to your shadow side. And so you were able to confront aspects of what was kept in the shadow, the deepest secrets of your soul. And so being in your recent past and the Tower rooting you, this tells me that this period of time is somewhat more, you are risen from the ashes. This is what's happening right now, and it's a bit more peaceful, and you're just looking, it's the aftermath. You're in the aftermath of Aquarius, and in that aftermath, you're just, gearing up with so much get up and go. So at the top of what crowns you is the Ten of Wands in reverse, and this is the release of burden. And of course it is. Of course that's what is gonna crown you, that energy of now now that you've confronted the shadow, you know what you can release, you know what you can release, that you can move away from burdens. And this is such like little minor arcana by comparison. There was this is all so intense. You know what you just moved out of, it feels so intense, Aquarius. I feel for you. Nothing but compassion here. And then so that when you look at these things that were burdening you, they're quite small and easy to let go of, actually. And this is the energy, and so your load lightens very swiftly now that you see clearly what these things are. You were passionate about them. They are Wands energy once upon a time, but you're a new person now. You're the phoenix from the ashes. Now that you're reborn and re-risen, like you're new, like not one cell is the same. And you look back at these old passions, you're like, oh, cool. I don't know if they really are lighting me up anymore. So you release them. And then in your near future, more walking away and releasing of things that no longer serve. And so now that you release things that are have to do with what once ignited your passions, the things that you did, the things that you engaged in, you're also ready to look at certain relationships, that and walk away and release the idea of disappointment, or release things that perhaps felt disappointing. In the upright, this is a card of walking away from what no longer emotionally serves you because you've lost your taste for them. It's like somebody who lost their taste for wine, literally, like the wine is fallen and they're brooding over it, and it just they don't even they just can't even, so to speak, because they've completely lost their taste for this. What once used to bring them great joy. It's the same energy and idea of these old passions. Like when you look back at them, they're like, oh, it's actually, I'm different now, and I see those things differently, and they don't hold as much resonance for me anymore. They don't light me up anymore. And same thing, this doesn't like fill my heart space anymore. These things, these people, these relationships, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. And this was in the reverse. And so there's a real recognition that the feeling of disappointment that came out of this is also ready to be released. Like it's no harm, no foul. It's just the way things go. There's a recognition and a really great wisdom in your handling of this. It's sort of what just came to mind. This I never think of Gwyneth Paltrow, but Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin's conscious separation, I think is what they called it. But when they divorced, when they separated, they made the announcement about, rather than having it be this like mean or sad, like overly negatively charged ending and blame filled divorce where we didn't succeed as a couple because of reasons that we can blame each other for, irreconcilable differences even, is a nice way to look at that, but is the nicest way we'd been able to look at it up to this moment. But then they introduced the concept of separation, of a conscientious separation, where it's just, you again recognize your irreconcilable differences and decide to peacefully and agreeably move on, just understanding that it's just time to go. And it's the energy of this of the way that these departures go. It's sort of like it's mutual, and it's sort of like it's okay. It's not anybody's fault that we've served the purpose that we have for each other, and it's just time. That's all. No big deal. There's so much more life out there. Let's keep going. And it doesn't even have to be an ending. It's one of those things where you just are like, you recognize the humanity in and what needs to happen next, so that's the energy of the Five of Cups in reverse for me. As you're moving through and coming into this new aspect of your life with, completely regenerated from top to toe with brand new cells, evidently, Aquarius, you're able to look at the things that you were engaging with before, the people you were engaging with before, and what doesn't serve you and will not be of service into your new a period of ascension, which is to say your next cycle, the next period of ascension for you. You just sort of have to part ways with them peacefully, and you're okay with that. Your present position is more of the same energy. You are walking away. You are cleaning house. It is a spring cleaning. It's a scouring. You're walking away from, again, things that no longer serve, into the moonlight. This is more of the same energy reflected back here. Aquarius, you're walking away from all of the emotional ties that have just been holding you down, holding you back, and causing you a lot of unbalance. And do you see how the way that these these chalices are stacked? The cups on this are stacked in a way that feel a little odd, with this, this bottom row here, and then 1, 2, space 3. It's sort of disruptive. And so that's the energy of the emotion, where it's like, it's always been not quite right. It's always been a little like off balance or off kilter. And so you're walking away from it finally, because it's never going to right itself, or you've tried and it just is never, it's just done. You're exhausted by it. And so you walk into the moonlight, and again, the moonlight is reflected here, and you choose over this. You choose the mystery, you choose the newness, you choose the shadow, and you choose to navigate by your intuition and go into the space of new discovery, like the things you've never walked into before. It's just repeat energy here, and this is repeat energy as well, like just understanding, isolating, and identifying the things that no longer serve you in the heart space, and so that you can grow there, you have to move away. In your environment is the Four of Swords in reverse, and this is the signifier of it's time to, the energy around you is everybody's waking up. Everybody's getting out of retreat mode. Four of Swords in the upright is a card of retreat, of meditation after the battle, or preparing for the next battle, a period where you get to step back and rejuvenate and encounter blessings. And in the reverse, that period is over. It's time to go back. It's time to go back. And indeed, I think that, like, it depends on what area of the world you are right now and how they're handling the pandemic. But some people are going into further lockdown. Other people are going into, returning back to a bit more of more open way of doing business, and this being in your environment sort of acknowledges that the world is sort of speeding up again around you, and so it also addresses that, or suggests that you may need to calibrate at that level as well. You're doing a lot of deep soul stuff right now, or you're coming out of this period, at least, you're not in the midst of this moment at the tower, the big, like you're in reparation. And this card also recognizes that as well, but you are, it's also saying that the environment, everything is starting to sort of ramp up again, or rev up again. And so that's just something to be mindful of as you are sorting through all of this pretty heavy stuff, Aquarius. And your hopes and fears is the Nine of, I was going to say Nine of Anxiety, which is what it is. It's the Nine of Swords, which is about sleepless nights and anxiety. And so in being your hopes and fears position, it makes a whole lot of sense that that this period might be something you have a sense of regret about. and it's just something that occurs to you. Swords energy is temporary air energy that it's ephemeral. It's something that occurs to you like gosh, I hope I don't regret walking away from any of this, but you don't let that pass over you. Let that pass over you like the wind, because it's really only in your head. And I hate to, I don't want to say that and devalidate that, that you have the presence of mind to consider all aspects of these very, very important things about your life. I do want to acknowledge that these have a valid reason for coming up. I do also want to acknowledge that the nines talk about personal stuff. And it's sort of like with the swords energy, it's a personal internal takedown. It's a personal internal, it's anxiety. This card is here to specifically tell you when something is all in your head a little bit. That and the Eight of Swords. There's, do you have reason to feel this way? Sometimes. In this case, it really is talking about, there's nothing on the table here that tells me that there's anything or, caustic thing, cause and effect thing. It really is just that you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, those things are defined, and a feeling of potential regret is natural out of that. And also because it's in your hopes and fears position, that's further confirmation for me that there's not really anything tangible that you need to be worrying about. In your outcome, and we'll get more clarifiers for this guy, is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And the Six of Pentacles talks about charity, reciprocity, a feeling of give and take, a feeling of it's something that's really big time came through. Okay, Aquarius, because this is in the reverse, I was going to get to that, but before I lose it, again, this is a card of somebody of great wealth giving people who have lesser needs. And sometimes you're on this end of it. Sometimes you're the wealthy giving charity, and sometimes you're in a situation where you need to be receiving that. And when you're on this side, though, like it's so this was in the reverse. I'm just gonna say it because before I forget it, breadcrumbing. So in your outcome, there's a sense of what you were experiencing, and perhaps some of what you were walking away from and have identified was the idea that the things that you've lost taste for, the things in your heart space that weren't being fulfilled entirely, that you've decided to finally dismiss because it's always left a little bit of disruption. There's a sense that it's because you were being breadcrumbed emotionally. You're only getting a little bit, and for those of you who've done any study on, narcissism spectrum, you'll understand exactly what that term means. But it's just, people who only give you a little bit, they breadcrumb you, and just enough to keep you hanging on emotionally. And in the reverse, this is an end to like the release of being attached to that energy, or having that energy be something that you are feel beholden to anymore. The release of that sort of, because the funny thing about the Six of Pentacles, like it's a card that one can read a lot of different ways depending on the surrounding cards. And most of the time I really celebrate the sense of balance and give and take and support that's available through the energies of this card. But also when there's a lot of swords energy here, and a lot of like shadow stuff happening on in this reading. And so it starts to dim this card's energy down to the idea that this person is they're not as yes, they're giving you something, they're not as generous as they seem, like because to give a little bit, it doesn't really mean that they have to deal with loss. They're not sacrificing anything. Not that that has to be part of the transaction ever. Honestly, like I don't subscribe to that. But in this case, the emotional, like there's a lack of balance when this is in reverse, and this is the way it landed. And so it's really talking about that sense of being breadcrumb, only getting so much of that energy, and you releasing that in your life and in your outcome as you rise up once again from this, in this big paradigm shift as the phoenix from ashes. Let's get more clarity for our Aquarius. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh yeah, hallelujah. Whew, do I even want to, sorry. I think I'm going to, let's see what we get here. I mean, I'm not going to read all of these because a ton of cards fill out Aquarius, so I'm just going to grab them. But let's take a quick, I'll just do this for you guys really quick just because they all did fall out. Three of Pentacles is quality work, group energy. The Six of Swords, moving away from chaos and tumultuous times to find more peace. The Hermit card came up again. That was your undergirding energy. That was the bottom of the deck energy. He's back here to confirm for you the wisdom. We've got the Nine of Cups. This is a wish fulfillment card and great achievement. That's what's coming up next. These are just the ones that flew out. I'm not even at the clarifying cards. Wealth, legacy. This is the Ten of Pentacles. Wealth and legacy, a love offer of creativity, of a really beautiful offer, a passionate message on the wind, and adventure, a new passionate beginning. Same idea as the last card, and a coming together and celebrating. Three of Cups. But really, so that's just the energy that flopped out there. Just to let you know kind of what's a buzz in the future, but really clarifying this idea. Let's get back to this. This is more important because you're releasing that, the energies that breadcrumb you, right? Okay, so Aquarius, you're also expanding, you're moving past the boundary. These are the actual clarifiers for this guy. As you release that energy, you're moving past a boundary, an old boundary that you'd set up or somebody set up for you, and you've gotten to the point where you can now be expansive into the yellow again. It's life-bringing sun energy. You're choosing life, and you're going the distance. You're moving forward away from all of that emotional baggage that no longer serves you, and you're getting a message. You're a student of life. You're a student of life. And this is, the Page of Pentacles is a card of a student. It's a material offer. It's also a material message. So that you may be hearing word, something. This is sort of the towards the next step that's supportive of your expansion. So this is more has to do with something in like perhaps your job, your finances, or material knowledge. And but what I wanted to say right away was you become a student of life. This thing is dead, done, and gone. The Ten of Swords in the reverse. The tens are a completion of all of the swords energy and all of the stuff that you're walking away from. It was darkest before the dawn. That's recognized here. In the reverse, this is the end of this period. You are now as a part of your outcome, and I think the ultimate thing that you needed to address was walking away from this breadcrumbing energy, and that was like the final thing. That's the final thing. Just FYI, if it hasn't happened yet, it feels the darkest before dawn, and then you just walk away and you kill it dead. You just decide that you're going to move on into the expanse in the sunlight instead, and you're just going to let this other thing fall away. This guy, and you become the star. This is your energy, Aquarius. You, in your outcome, the star card is the Aquarius card, and you become more of yourself. You come forward fully arrived. The star card talks about hopes and wishes and dreams coming true. It talks about nurturing yourself emotionally in a way, and growing everything that you aspire towards. It talks about great recognition as well. The star is the star. And the nudity of the woman on this card talks about the willingness to be vulnerable, and a sense of freedom, and a lack of shame. So as you go on, remember we talked about like the idea of you like fearing regret. Don't, because you are the star, and you show up in your outcome fully realized as yourself times, to the nth, to the major arcana level, Aquarius. It's a really, really beautiful outcome through all of this. My heart is with you. If that resonated with you, please do hit the thumbs up, and well done. This is a really intense process. For those of you who are going through it, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it is about your ascension, and you're doing a beautiful, beautiful job at it. So, all right. I hope to see you at the next one. Once again, please hit the like button, the subscribe, drop me a comment below if you feel so moved. I'll see you at the next reading. I'm sending you my love and light.